Hello, Capricorn. What you're looking at right now is the spread of tarot cards for your 2019 reading for love and relationships. So, cards are out. I'm going to pause it right here. Okay, good. So, yes, this is for the entire year of 2019. What's up ahead for love? There are 21 cards, 3 rows of 7, and you should see my little arrow going here and there as I explain what I'm seeing. This will be much more shorter, less academic. Helps just to see me explaining the cards. But the 21 cards, 3 rows of 7. Now, each row is 4 months. So this first row is going to be January through April. This next row is going to be May through August. And then this row towards the end of the year, September through December. Okay? So hopefully this will be a much better format for you. And as I said, it's going to be much shorter than my previous years of doing yearly readings. Usually those took like 40 minutes, 45. This will be much shorter. What is the theme for 2019 for Capricorn? Well, they're unworthy. And the other thing I want to point out here, there's not a single pentacle in the entire spread. I don't know how that happened. I really don't. I'm sorry. Not a single pentacle. But tons of fire and water. You don't even have that many swords. You have 7 of Swords here. This 10 of Swords in the middle. And that's it. It's major arcana with water and fire. It's crazy. You know, sometimes when I look at how these tarot cards come out, it blows my mind. Now, you do have that center card, which is 10 of Swords. And so, yeah, someone did you wrong. That's what I'm seeing here in my notes, that someone's really going to mess up here. Okay? And as I said, I kind of see this battle between water and fire, this need for passion, and, you know, fire can be very quick. It's very fast. It changes everything it touches, but it's not a long-lasting energy. It goes very quickly. Water, it's not so much slow, but water represents your emotions, your feelings in the tarot, this energy of romance and love and intuition. But then, as I said, you have some strategic swords, 7, 10, 6. And those swords tell me a little bit about how you and your love interest are thinking, feeling, perceiving, communicating. And I'll get to that as well. So, center card, you have that 10 of Swords. This is going to be about dealing with someone's mistake. Recovering and healing from someone's bad decision or mistake. And obviously when the 7 of Swords is here, 7 of Swords is usually the card when I do relationship readings. It's usually a heads up someone might be lying, keeping secrets, or even cheating in some respects. So when we get here to that 10 of Swords, yes, I kind of see that this 7 of Swords over here in this first row in the beginning of the year is sort of like giving a heads up of what your love interest or partner is up to. Now, I'm not saying your partners are cheating on you. or even lying. But that Seven of Swords in a relationship reading can definitely indicate a lack of trust. So, the major arcana cards, you certainly have a lot of those as well. So, as I said, big heads up, changes. Big changes for you in your relationship. And don't be too sure that some of you might not be ending a relationship as well. Okay? So, that's your root card. This card is in the middle row, middle column, right in the middle. And your first major, you start off the year with a major arcana card, the World. Now, in a way, this is sort of like a pentacle because the world is attached to Earth. The world is the Earth. And, of course, pentacles are an Earth sign. So you do have some grounding here. You do have this, the World is the last card in the major arcana, and it usually signals the end of a chapter and the beginning of a new chapter. And then you have the Hierophant, and this is a good, or the Pope, or the priest. The Hierophant usually signals tradition, holding embracing new beliefs, spiritual awareness, learning, counseling, anything that has to do with higher spiritual awareness, the metaphysics, even esoteric studies. That's the Hierophant here. So the World and the Hierophant are sort of indicating a mental shift, a new awareness. And then you have this Magician. As I said, lots of wands here, even in your major arcana. The Magician is the one who wields power and influence. And then you have Karma, which is another card of shifts and changes. Only Karma is about what goes around comes around, and how the decisions made in the past sort of change your destiny. And it can also mean, big events like having children, getting married, those big life decisions. Where your life is never the same. And so when I look at these four major arcana in the beginning of the year for you, Capricorn, buckle your seatbelts, okay? And I do feel that some of you are going to be dealing with maybe the partner's lack of trust, the partner's absent-mindedness, the partner not communicating with you as much, and so that's where I'm starting to see those trust issues here. Moving to the second row, middle of the year, the only major arcana card you have is the Lovers reversed. So yes, you're probably thinking at this point, oh my God, Aire, my year is going to suck. Well, don't necessarily cling to that belief. There are always ups and downs in any relationship or any life experience. And you can always be happy. Don't come to the tarot with the idea of a slot machine mentality. You pull the lever to see what you get. Oh, I'm going to be sad. Oh, I'm going to be happy. You're in control of your own happiness, no matter what the tarot is saying. The purpose of the tarot is to give you a bigger picture of the events that are surrounding you. So throughout the year, as I explain this, yes, lots of interesting things happening in your quote-unquote story, but they're only expressing some of the things that are going on around you that you may not be aware of. As I said, it's only a bigger picture. Doesn't mean you won't be unhappy or happy or anything. You're always in control of how you react. You can always make different decisions. The tarot is there to inform you and guide you and just make you more aware of the decisions that you're making in your life and how your energies are changing. So Lovers reversed, a reversal of a romantic relationship, growing apart, doesn't necessarily mean a breakup. And then when we get here, very intense because we have the High Priestess. And this is a good card to have. You have the Hierophant here. This is the inner energy. She's the, she listens to her subconscious. She's not so much about the outward expression of spirituality. She's more inward, like most of the women in the tarot, like most of all the queens, where she keeps her emotions in check, which is very much like a Capricorn. And she listens to her intuition and she trusts her intuition. She doesn't let her emotions or feelings get out of control. She trusts herself. She sort of like keeps it together. And so when we head over here near the end of the year, you do have death. Doesn't necessarily, once again, definitely not a physical death going on here, but in a relationship reading, a clear, definite shift that certain things are going to change forever. And after death, there's a resurrection. So there's going to be a big transformation near the end of the year. So I feel like those big transformations, especially when you start off with the World over here, it's about, it feels as if, I'm concentrating here for a second. It feels as if you're starting the year thinking you're going to be in the same relationship and that maybe you can make it work with this person. But then there are things that are going to end up happening where you're going to be like, no, maybe we weren't meant to be together. And sometimes it can mean people changing and growing apart, which happens all the time in relationships. And it's nothing you can fight or stop. It just happens. So big decisions happening here near the end of the year with death. But it's not going to be anything that blindsides you, because with the Hierophant and the High Priest and this spiritual energy, especially with the closing, with the World closing a chapter, it's sort of like you're going to be aware that things are changing in your relationship, and you're not going to try to stop it. Okay? You're just going to look at how things develop. So when I look at that first row, looking at my notes, a new believer, trust, magician, power, karma comes around, goes around. So yes, this is when you start noticing the big shifts. Like what is happening here? You know, your partner might decide to make a new decision out of the blue, keeping secrets hidden from you that eventually will come out. Okay, but as I said, when we get to the middle row here, the middle of the year, that's going to be your roughest time, because then you have a Four of Cups, detachment, next to a Four of Wands. This person with the Wands energy, it feels like with the Four of Wands competing with the Four of Cups, it feels like emotionally you're not going to like some of the decisions and actions that your partner's engaged in, because then they have a Three of Wands, like, I'm making new plans. Let's see if we can move to a new city, or let's buy a house, or it just feels as if you two are going to start wanting different things heading into 2019, whether you're married or not, whether it's long-term or not. Even if you're just casually dating, it feels as if Capricorn, you're never going to really feel settled. So that's what brings us to this Ten of Swords and the pain and the heartbreak here, and that is followed by a Six of Swords. Now we have travel, and it could be that your partners or love interests might be traveling physically, but it can also mean emotionally pulling away, emotionally healing. So we get this interesting juxtaposition here. The Lovers is reversed next to a Ten of Cups, which is usually the happily ever after, the happy family, the wonderful marriage. But the Lover's card is reversed. And so a couple things I want to point out here. The Lover's card is not always about marriage or soulmates. The Lover's card is very sexual. It's connected to Eros. It's that infatuation and that seductive energy that pulls you to someone. And it's almost like you know, a person cannot be a person can actually be bad for you, but you're still attracted to that person. You're still drawn to that person. So I'm looking at this Lover's energy, this infatuation that is turning toxic. And it could be some of you might even be involved in a love triangle where there could be a sense of betrayal where there's a breakup and the partner goes with someone else to make a life. But the other part of it is, as far as a long-term relationship, the infatuation or sexual energy is gone, but the emotions there's still an attachment, an emotional attachment. So that could also be part of what's going on here, because remember when we come here, you had a King of Wands, and then here you had a Five of Cups. So once again, it seems like whenever fire and water have a clash, the swords come out to sort of say, these are the results from this last fight. This King of Wands is full of passion, wants to have his way, but then there's regret and sadness and loneliness as a result. Same thing here, sadness, but yet this Wands energy seems to be squashing, like two different paths. So once again, I see that same thing here. The fire and passion of the lovers versus the emotional connection going on here. And remember, the number 10 is usually the number that signals the end and a new beginning. So that was one interpretation that I had, that there might be a love triangle or a love interest drifting to another partner, or even you drifting to another partner. Okay, and it could mean that that it can, and sometimes it can only just mean there's, as I said, lack of sexual energy, but still an emotional connection. So when we head here, more water. Now the High Priestess, as I said, there seems to be a little bit of more stability here. The High Priestess is sort of like that inward energy connected to the subconscious. And then we get this Three of Cups. Things are not as serious compared to the Two of Cups. Three of Cups, I kind of read that in relationship readings is more casual. You also have a Nine of Cups reversed, and the Nine of Cups is usually the wish card. Your wishes come true, but it's also a card about spending time with loved ones. What I'm seeing here, especially with the previous cups, you had that 5, 4, and 10 of Cups. What I'm seeing here in the end of the year is more of a casual relationship, just emotionally pulling back. Things are not as intense as the Two of Cups, but also emotionally not being able to really feel comfortable with love. It seems as if when the Nine of Cups is reversed, part of it seems to be a reversal of love and affection in the home, a reversal of affection in a marriage or a long-term relationship. And so things heat up again. It's really, really weird the way you have these cups all over the place near the end of the year, because then you see that Queen of Wands. And the Queen of Wands, like the King takes action, the Queen is more about feelings of that passion and fire, but yet here comes death to bring closure to everything. It almost feels as if death ends all of this combustible fire. Death just sort of, the fire reaches its highest intensity and then gets squashed out with death, and then you have resurrection. So I think that's interesting how all that fire energy plays out. And then then death comes along as if the fire has reached full intensity, the full change. All of these shifts come to a head in a relationship. And as I said, it doesn't necessarily mean that a relationship is going to end or if there's a breakup. But whatever is going on with these swords, death seems to be putting an end to it. So now you have an emotional decision, that's Seven of Cups. And it's followed by a Page of Cups. The Page of Cups is about infatuation, having a crush, falling in love, being young and naive about love, starting over. That's not necessarily a bad thing. But I kind of feel like this might be a new beginning for you. That emotionally you decide to let go and give someone else a try or take a new direction. Whether the relationship continues or not, it feels like some of you might be ready to leave your old partners behind and connect emotionally with someone else. So there is a possibility some of you are going to be drawn to new people. And you shouldn't be afraid of that. Because sometimes the universe does have to give us a swift kick in the butt to move us along from relationships that no longer serve our highest purpose. Okay? So this is a very, very interesting reading. I mean, there are absolutely no pentacles, Capricorn. I don't know what to make of it. I don't necessarily think it's bad or good. But as I said, it seems like this fire and water energy, water wins out. Love wins out. Okay? So thank you so much. Thank you to my subscribers and all of my regular clients. Thank you so much for letting me read for you for another year. January readings are coming up this weekend, so stay tuned for that. So I hope you're having a wonderful holiday season. I wish you Happy New Year's. I'll see you in 2019. And as always, I wish you love and light.